I had been waiting for Friday for 6 months. Olivia, look at this, I said, holding the printed hotel confirmation across the kitchen table. Ocean view, private balcony, 5 nights. I even got the room you liked when we visited last year. Olivia barely looked up from her phone. That's nice, Ethan. Nice. I laughed. You told me 3 times that you wanted this trip. I know. And I booked that restaurant you love. Which one? The one by the water. Oh, right. I lowered the paper. You seem excited. She finally put her phone down. I am excited. You don't look excited. I'm just tired. I smiled because I had become very good at accepting weak answers. Then sleep early tonight. We have only 4 days left. About that. Something in her voice made my smile disappear. What? She looked away. I don't think I can go. For a second, I honestly thought I had heard her wrong. What do you mean? I mean I can't go on the trip. Why? I have something important to deal with. I stared at her. What could possibly be more important than this? We planned it months ago. I know, Ethan. Then tell me. She took a slow breath. Ryan needs me. The name hit harder than I expected. Ryan. Yes. Your ex Ryan? He's going through a really difficult divorce. I looked at the hotel confirmation again. You're canceling our anniversary trip because your ex is having a divorce problem? Don't say it like that. How should I say it? He needs someone. So do I. She frowned. Ethan, please don't start. Start what? This jealousy. I almost laughed. Jealousy. Yes. Ryan and I are friends. You canceled our trip for him. He has nobody else. And I have nobody. That isn't what I meant. Then what did you mean? She stood up and walked toward the window. His divorce hearing is Friday. He's terrified. I followed her with my eyes. And you have to be there? Yes. You have to hold his hand. He needs emotional support. I felt something crack inside me. You know what hurts? What? I believed you when you said Ryan was completely out of your life. He is. Then why does he keep coming back into ours? He isn't coming into ours. I'm helping a friend. A friend you used to love. That was years ago. You're still choosing him. She turned sharply. I am not choosing him over you. You just canceled our trip for him. You're making this bigger than it is. I stared at her for several seconds. Do you remember what this trip was for? Our anniversary. And my birthday. I remember. You helped me choose the hotel. I was busy. You helped me choose the dinner. I forgot. You said you were excited. I was. Then why does none of that matter now? She rubbed her forehead. Because Ryan is in trouble. And I'm not. You're fine. I nodded slowly. That's what you think. What do you want me to say? I want you to care. I do care. Then stay. She looked at me. I can't. My throat tightened. Would you cancel everything if I needed you this badly? She said nothing. I waited. Olivia. Her eyes dropped. That silence answered me. I picked up the confirmation papers. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Are you angry? I'm hurt. Ethan. I spent 6 months planning this. I know. I thought maybe we could fix things. What things? The distance between us. She looked confused. There is no distance. I gave a quiet smile. Then why do I feel alone while standing beside my wife? She had no answer. I walked toward the hallway. Where are you going? To pack. For what? The trip. She blinked. You're not seriously going without me. I am. Ethan, you're being dramatic. No. You're angry. I was. And now. Now I understand. Understand what? That I kept asking you to choose me when you had already made your choice. She stared at me. You're making a mistake. Maybe. You can't just leave. Why not? Because we're married. I looked at my wedding ring. Being married didn't stop you from leaving me first. Her face changed. Ethan, please. I picked up my suitcase. Don't worry. I'll go without you. She actually laughed. You won't last 2 days. I stopped at the door. You don't know me as well as you think. Where are you even going? Somewhere I can breathe. You'll come back. I looked at her one last time. I don't think I will. I walked outside and called Daniel. He answered immediately. Hey, Ethan. What's wrong? She canceled the trip. What? For Ryan. Daniel went silent. Are you serious? Yeah. What are you going to do? I looked at my suitcase. I'm going alone. Ethan, are you sure? For the first time in a long time. Then go. I closed my eyes. I think this trip is going to change everything. Daniel sighed. Maybe it already has. I ended the call and looked back at my house. Olivia was still standing by the window. I waved once. She didn't understand what that wave meant. It wasn't goodbye to the trip. It was goodbye to the man who had spent years waiting for her to choose him. That night, I packed slowly. I found the small gift I had bought for her birthday. "You were supposed to open this on the beach," I whispered. Then I placed it in the suitcase. Not for her. For me. I wanted one reminder of what I had believed. At midnight, Olivia texted me. "Are you really leaving tomorrow?" I stared at the message. I typed yes. She replied, "You'll regret this." I looked at my suitcase. "For once," I whispered, "I think you're wrong." I turned off my phone. Tomorrow, I would board that plane alone. And when I returned, I knew I would not be the same man again. I woke before sunrise, dressed quietly, and carried my suitcase downstairs. Olivia was still asleep. At least, I thought she was. I stopped outside our bedroom and looked at the closed door. For 1 second, I wanted to wake her. I wanted to say, "I'm leaving." I wanted her to stop me. Then I remembered her silence when I asked if she would choose me. I walked out instead. At the airport, I stood beside the departure screen and held 2 boarding passes. One had my name. The other had Olivia's. I stared at hers for a long time. 6 months, I whispered. I planned everything for 6 months. A man beside me glanced over. "You okay?" I forced a smile. "Yeah, just traveling alone." He nodded and walked away. I looked at the second ticket again. Maybe this is what I needed. My phone buzzed. "Olivia." I answered. "Hello. Did you leave?" "Yes." "You didn't even wake me. You were sleeping. You could have said goodbye." "I did." "When?" "Last night." She went quiet. Then she said, "You're really going?" "Yes." "Ethan, don't turn this into something it isn't." "I'm not." "Then come home after the trip." I looked at Olivia's boarding pass. "I'll think about it." "You will, right?" I said I'll think about it. She sighed. "I have to go. Ryan needs me." I closed my eyes. "Of course he does. Please don't start again." "I won't. Have a safe flight." "You too." She paused. "I'm not flying anywhere." "I know." I ended the call. At the gate, I almost bought another ticket. Not for Olivia. For the return flight. My thumb hovered over the screen. Then I heard her voice in my memory. "Ryan needs me." I deleted the search. A stranger nearby asked, "Waiting for someone?" "No," I said. "I'm done waiting." The word surprised me. I had spent years waiting for Olivia to notice my effort, my sacrifices, and my quiet pain. I suddenly understood something simple. Love should not feel like standing outside a locked door. I picked up my suitcase and walked toward the gate. This time, I wasn't running from Olivia. I was finally walking away from the version of myself that accepted being second. I knew I would never apologize for that. The gate opened 20 minutes later. I boarded alone. When the plane lifted into the clouds, I watched my city disappear beneath me. For years, I had built my life around Olivia. Where we ate, where we traveled, what weekends looked like. Even my plans for the future had her name written across them. Yet when she had to choose between me and Ryan, she had not needed even a minute. I leaned back and closed my eyes. Memories came quickly. Ryan called. Olivia had once told me. Again, he needs advice. We're having dinner. I'll only be 5 minutes. 5 minutes had become 40. Another night came back. Why were you hiding your phone? I wasn't. Then why did you turn the screen away? Because I knew you'd ask. I'm your husband, and he's my friend. I remembered every excuse, every missed dinner, every canceled plan, every time I swallowed my anger because I loved her. My phone rang. "Daniel." I answered. "You made it onto the plane?" "Yeah." "How are you?" "I don't know." "That's honest." I laughed softly. "Daniel, something changed last night." "What?" I stopped wanting her to chase me. He was silent. Then he said, "Good. Good. Ethan, you don't need revenge. You need distance." I looked through the window. What if I never go back? Then don't. You make it sound easy. It isn't easy. It's necessary. I swallowed. I thought leaving would hurt more. It will. Thanks. I mean it. Let yourself hurt. Just don't run back because you're lonely. His words stayed with me after the call ended. When I landed, the air smelled different. I checked into the hotel and looked at the empty room. No Olivia. No arguments. No waiting for her to answer a message. Just silence. For the first time in years, the silence felt peaceful. I walked through the city that afternoon. I bought coffee. I sat in a small park. I watched strangers laugh. Nobody knew my marriage was falling apart. Nobody expected anything from me. I liked that. That evening, I found a small restaurant beside the sea. The waiter led me to a table near the water. A woman at the next table looked at me. You look lost. I smiled. Do I? A little. Maybe I am. She laughed. Bad trip. Unexpected trip. Those can be better. Sometimes. She introduced herself. I'm Sophie. Ethan. Traveling alone, Ethan? Now I am. That sounds complicated. It is. She studied my face. Are you running away from someone? I looked toward the water. Maybe I'm running toward myself. She smiled. That sounds healthier. I hope so. We talked for a while. She didn't ask for every detail. I appreciated that. Before leaving, she said, whatever happened, don't let it decide who you become. I nodded. Thank you. Good luck, Ethan. I walked back to my hotel feeling lighter. Across the country, Olivia was still living the life she had chosen. I knew she was probably with Ryan. Maybe she thought I would return after a few days. Maybe she believed my anger would disappear. She was wrong. That night, I opened my phone. I had several messages. Did you arrive? Are you okay? Why aren't you answering? I stared at them. Then I typed one sentence. Enjoy the life you chose. I pressed send. For the first time, I didn't wait for her reply. I placed my phone face down and looked toward the dark sea. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but I knew one thing. I wasn't going back to the life I had left behind. I had come here alone. Maybe that was exactly how I needed to find myself. I returned to the apartment 3 days later with one suitcase. Olivia opened the door and froze. You came back. I came for my things. Her eyes dropped to my suitcase. You're leaving again? I never came back. What does that mean? It means I only came here to collect what belongs to me. She stepped aside. Ethan, can we talk? We're talking. No, I mean talk. I walked into the living room. Fine. Talk. She folded her arms. I don't understand why you're acting like this. Like what? Like our marriage is over. I looked at her. Isn't it? Nothing happened. I almost smiled. Nothing happened. Yes. Olivia, you canceled our anniversary trip. Because Ryan needed help. You chose him. I helped a friend. You chose another man when you were supposed to choose your husband. She shook her head. You're making it sound terrible. It felt terrible. You knew his divorce was serious. And you knew what that trip meant to me. I thought you'd understand. I stared at her. How many times do I have to be the person who understands? What? How many times do I forgive you while nobody even asks how I feel? That isn't fair, isn't it? I've always cared about you. Then why did I feel alone? She looked away. I didn't know you felt that way. You never asked. She sat down. Ethan, Ryan was falling apart. And I was standing beside you. He needed me. I needed my wife. He was terrified. So was I. She looked at me. Terrified of what? Of finally realizing I wasn't enough for you. Her expression softened. You were always enough. Then why him? I don't know. You do. She became quiet. I sat across from her. Tell me the truth. I am. No. The whole truth. She took a shaky breath. I still have feelings for Ryan. I felt the words hit me harder than any insult could have. You still love him? I don't know if it's love. But you have feelings. Yes. I looked down at my wedding ring. Thank you. She stared at me. For what? For finally telling me something real. Ethan, please don't do this. Do what? Walk away like none of this matters. It matters more than anything. Then stay. I looked at her. Why? Because I love you. You love me and still have feelings for him. I can't control everything I feel. No. But you can control what you do. She started crying. I made a mistake. You made a choice. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. I can fix this. I don't want you to fix it. Why? Because I'm tired of competing for my own wife's attention. She covered her face. I never wanted this. Neither did I. I picked up my suitcase. Where are you going? Somewhere else. You're really leaving? Yes. You're giving up on us? No. I paused at the door. I'm giving up on begging you to choose me. I left before she could answer. Outside, I called Daniel. I'm done, I said. With Olivia? With chasing Olivia. He was quiet. Are you sure? I've never been more sure. Where will you stay? I'll find somewhere. You can stay with me. Thanks, but I need my own place. That sounds like progress. It feels strange. Strange isn't bad. I found a small apartment that afternoon. It was empty, plain, and nothing like our home. I liked it. Nobody was waiting for me there. Nobody was disappointed in me. Nobody expected me to explain why I wasn't smiling. The next morning, Marcus called. You finally have time for the project. I laughed. I guess I do. You remember the software company we discussed? The one I kept postponing? Exactly. I thought you said we needed 6 months. We do, if you keep ignoring it. I won't anymore. Then meet me at 10. I'll be there. When I arrived, Marcus spread the documents across the table. You're serious now? I have to be. Why? Because I spent too long building someone else's life. He studied me. Are you talking about Olivia? Yes. You still love her? I took a breath. Yes. Then this won't be easy. I know. But you're working anyway. I need something that belongs to me. Marcus smiled. Then let's build it. I worked until sunset without checking my phone. Later, Grace called. You sound different. I am different. What happened? Olivia admitted she still has feelings for Ryan. Grace went silent. Then she said, I knew it. You knew? I suspected. Why didn't you tell me? Because you wouldn't have listened. I sighed. Maybe you're right. You always forgive too quickly, Ethan. I thought forgiveness was good. It is. Then what's wrong with it? Nothing, when people deserve another chance. I stayed quiet. Grace continued. You keep calling it love because you're afraid to call it betrayal. Her words cut deep. I don't know what to call it. Call it what it was. Betrayal. Yes. For the first time, the word didn't make me angry. It made me free. I think I'm finally learning, Grace. Learning what? That loving someone doesn't mean losing myself. She smiled through the phone. Now you're finally listening. I wish I had listened sooner. You weren't ready. Maybe I am now. After we ended the call, I opened my suitcase. Inside was the birthday gift I had once planned to give Olivia by the sea. I held it for a moment. Then I placed it in a drawer. I was refusing to live inside the past. My phone buzzed. Olivia had sent a message. Can we talk tomorrow? I stared at the screen. Then I typed one answer. Yes. But this time, I won't be asking you to stay. I pressed send. For the first time, I knew exactly where I stood. I was hurt. I was still in love. But I was no longer willing to disappear just to keep someone beside me. I thought leaving Olivia behind would make everything simpler. For 3 days, I focused on work, sleep, and keeping my phone away from my hand. Then Marcus called. Ethan, we need to talk. About the project? Not this time. I sat up. What happened? I looked into Ryan. I frowned. Why? Because something didn't feel right. What did you find? Marcus hesitated. Ryan is drowning in debt. I stared at the wall. How much? Enough to destroy his business. So he needed Olivia emotionally? That isn't all he needed. What else? Money. Connections. Her family contacts. Your shared accounts. My stomach tightened. What do you mean, our shared accounts? I found several transfers. How many? Enough that you should check your bank statements. I opened my laptop immediately. There they were. Small payments at first, then larger ones. I stared at the screen. Olivia. Marcus said. Ethan, don't confront him yet. I need to talk to her. Stay calm. I will. I ended the call and dialed Olivia. She answered after several rings. Ethan, did you give Ryan money? Silence. Where did you hear that? That's not an answer. Ethan, I can explain. How much? It wasn't what you think. How much, Olivia? She whispered. $30,000. I closed my eyes. From our savings? Yes. You used our money to help your ex? He promised to repay it. When his business recovered. Did you believe that? Yes. Why didn't you tell me? Because I knew you'd stop me. That sentence hurt more than the money. So you knew what you were doing. I was trying to help someone. You were hiding it from your husband. He was desperate. And I wasn't. Please don't make this about you. I laughed bitterly. How could it not be about me? You took our money. I thought I could fix everything. You couldn't even tell me the truth. I was scared. Of me. Of losing you. You were already choosing him. She began crying. I didn't want to lose either of you. You can't keep 2 lives, Olivia. I know. No, you didn't. I ended the call. My hands were shaking, but I refused to call her back. An hour later, my phone rang again. Ryan. I answered. What do you want? He laughed. You finally sound angry. Say what you called to say. I just wanted to make something clear. Go ahead. Olivia isn't going to stay away from me. I leaned back. You're very confident. She still loves me. She told me she has feelings for you. See, that doesn't mean you'll get her. You're finished, Ethan. Am I? You ran away on a trip. I took some distance. You couldn't handle the truth. I smiled coldly. Ryan, you think this is a competition, isn't it? No. Then what is it? A consequence. He laughed. You always were dramatic. And you always were careless. What does that mean? You have no idea what you've walked into. You threatening me? No. Then what? I'm warning you. I don't need your warning. Maybe not. I ended the call. For once, I didn't feel the urge to shout. I didn't need to beat Ryan. I needed to let him reveal himself. The next morning, Marcus called again. You're going to want to hear this. What happened? Thomas Mitchell found out about Ryan's debts. His father? Yes. What did he say? He asked Ryan why several business accounts were empty. And Ryan lied. Then, Thomas checked everything himself. I sat quietly. What happens now? Thomas is furious. A second call came through. Olivia. I answered. What happened? Her voice was trembling. Ryan lied to me. I know. He said his business was struggling because of the divorce. And it was already collapsing. I said nothing. He used the money for other debts. I closed my eyes. Olivia, you knew something was wrong. I didn't know this. You knew enough to hide it from me. She began crying again. I thought he needed me. He needed what you could give him. I loved him. No. She went silent. What? You loved the person you remembered. That isn't true. Then ask yourself why he came back when he needed money. She didn't answer. I could hear her breathing. Finally, she whispered. He never came back for me, did he? I looked out the window. I think you already know. I destroyed our marriage for him. You made your choices. Can you forgive me? I don't know. Do you still love me? I swallowed. Yes. She cried harder. Then why won't you come home? Because love isn't enough anymore. She whispered, I understand. No, Olivia. You are starting to understand. The line went quiet. Then she said, Ryan never wanted me. I answered softly. He wanted what you could give him. She broke down. I didn't celebrate. I didn't feel victorious. I only felt tired. That evening, Thomas called me himself. Ethan, I owe you an apology. For what? My son has caused damage I cannot undo. I didn't ask you to fix my marriage. I know, but I should have known what he was doing. Why are you telling me? Because I want you to know the truth. Ryan never planned to rebuild anything with Olivia. I looked down. What did he plan? He wanted access to her money and influence. Thomas sighed. He used everyone around him. And now, I have cut him off. I nodded. That is your decision. I hope you find peace, Ethan. I hope so too. After the call, I sat alone. For the first time, I wasn't asking who had betrayed me. I knew. Now I only had to decide what I would do with that truth. For years, I had believed Ryan was the reason my marriage was falling apart. Now I understood the truth. Ryan had opened the door. Olivia had chosen to walk through it. And I had finally stopped standing there, waiting for her to return. I stopped measuring my days by Olivia's messages. Instead, I measured them by work. Marcus and I launched the project 6 weeks later. You ready? Marcus asked. I've never been more ready. You know this could fail. So could my marriage. He laughed. That was dark. It was honest. Then let's make sure at least one thing works. We shook hands and started. The first week was brutal. The second was worse. Then our first major client signed. Marcus stared at the screen. Ethan, we got it. I smiled. We actually got it. You're smiling. I forgot I could. You should do that more. I will. For the first time in years, I worked because I wanted to build something, not because I was trying to impress someone. My phone still stayed silent most days. Then Ryan's problems exploded. Marcus showed me an article. His company collapsed. I read the headline. Thomas cut him off. Completely. What about Olivia? She tried helping him again. I frowned. Why? Because she still believed she could save him. I closed the article. She hasn't learned yet. She will. She did. 2 days later, Olivia called me 7 times. I ignored every call. Then she sent a message. Please answer. I didn't. Another message arrived. I need to talk to you. I placed my phone in a drawer. That evening, Sophie called. How was your day? Good. Only good. Very good. You sound different. I closed a huge deal. Then why do you sound sad? I laughed softly. Because success doesn't erase everything. No, it doesn't. I leaned back. Can I ask you something? Of course. Do you think people can change? Yes. Even after hurting someone badly? Yes. Does changing mean they deserve another chance? No. Her answer came quickly. Why not? Because healing isn't about forgetting what happened. Then what is it about? Refusing to let the past control your future. I stayed quiet. That sounds simple. It isn't. I think I'm starting to understand. Good. Thanks, Sophie. You're welcome. She paused. And Ethan? Yeah. Don't make me your replacement for Olivia. I laughed. I wasn't planning to. Good. I value having you as a friend. Then keep it that way. I will. After the call, I checked my phone. There were 3 missed calls from Olivia. I ignored them again. The next morning, Marcus walked into my office. You heard? Heard what? Ryan blamed Olivia. For what? For his financial collapse. I frowned. How? He told her she should have given him more money. My jaw tightened. She already gave him $30,000. Apparently that wasn't enough. I shook my head. What did she say? She refused. And he told her she was useless. I stared at Marcus. After everything she did for him? That's what I heard. I sat down. For a moment, I felt anger. Then something else replaced it. Pity. Not for Ryan. For Olivia. She had thrown away years of marriage for someone who only valued what he could take from her. That afternoon, her number appeared again. I watched it ring. Once. Twice. 3 times. I almost answered. Then I remembered her words. I still have feelings for Ryan. I let the call end. That night, I finally listened to her voicemail. Her voice was broken. Ethan, I finally understand what I lost. I closed my eyes. She continued. I thought I was helping someone I loved. I thought you would always understand. I was wrong. I swallowed hard. I know I hurt you. I know saying sorry can't fix it. I just need you to know that I finally see what I did. The message ended. I sat in silence. A part of me wanted to call her. The old Ethan would have. He would have heard her crying and rushed back. But I wasn't that man anymore. I didn't hate her. I didn't even want revenge. I simply didn't want to rescue her from the consequences of her choices. I looked around my office. 6 months ago, I had been planning a vacation. Now I had a business, my own apartment, new friends, and a future I had never imagined. Still, part of me was grieving. Not the marriage. The man I had been inside it. That evening, I stayed late. At nearly 9, Marcus entered. You should go home. I will. He pointed toward the window. Someone's waiting outside. I looked down. My heart stopped. Olivia stood beneath the streetlight. She was crying. I didn't move. Marcus looked at me. Do you want me to ask her to leave? I watched her wipe her face. No. You sure? Yes. I walked downstairs. When I opened the door, she looked at me. Ethan, what are you doing here? Please. Please what? Give me 10 minutes. For what? To explain everything. I said nothing. She stepped closer. I know I don't deserve your time. You're right. I know I hurt you. You did. I know I chose wrong. I looked into her eyes. Then why are you here? She started crying again. Because I finally understand what I lost. I felt the old pain return. But I didn't step toward her. I didn't reach for her hand. I simply stood there and listened. 10 minutes. Ethan, she whispered. Please. I looked at the office behind me. Then at her. Fine. She breathed shakily. Thank you. I opened the door wider. Come in. As she walked past me, I realized something important. I was no longer afraid of hearing what she had to say. Whatever happened next, I knew I could walk away. I sat across from Olivia and kept my hands folded on the table. You asked for 10 minutes. I know. You have 10. She nodded, wiping her eyes. Thank you. Start. She took a breath. I lied to you. I said nothing. I lied about Ryan. I lied about the money. I lied about my feelings. Why? Because I was afraid. Of what? Of admitting that part of me never stopped loving him. The words still hurt. So you knew? Yes. You knew you had feelings for him while you were married to me. Yes. And you still let me believe our marriage was safe. I did. Why? She looked down. Because I thought you would always be there. I felt my chest tighten. What does that mean? It means I thought your love was permanent. Permanent. Yes. No matter what you did. She started crying. I thought you'd forgive me. That was the problem. I know. No, Olivia. You didn't understand. You took my loyalty for granted because you never believed I could leave. I understand now. After I left. Yes. After you lost Ryan's money? She looked ashamed. Yes. After he turned against you? Yes. After everything collapsed? Yes. I leaned back. So, when did you finally realize I wasn't waiting anymore? When you stopped answering. I looked away. She continued. You used to answer every call. Even when you were angry. Even when I hurt you. I thought that was what love meant. And now I know love can't mean abandoning myself. She covered her face. I am sorry. I waited. I am really sorry, Ethan. I believe you. Her eyes lifted. You do? Yes. Then please come home. I felt something move inside me. Olivia, please. I can't. Why? Because forgiveness isn't the same as going back. She shook her head. I can change. I believe you can. Then give me a chance. I already gave you years. I'll do anything. You shouldn't have to do anything for me. I'll leave everything behind. You already did. She stared at me. What? You left our marriage the moment you chose someone else over us. I was confused. You weren't confused when you transferred our money. She lowered her eyes. No. You weren't confused when you hid the truth. No. You weren't confused when I asked you to stay. No. Her voice broke. I was selfish. Yes. I was weak. Yes. I hurt the person who loved me most. Yes. She began crying again. I felt the old instinct to comfort her. My hand almost moved across the table. Then I remembered the airport. I remembered holding 2 boarding passes. I remembered asking her to choose me. I remembered her silence. That memory stopped me. I remember our first trip together, I said. She smiled through her tears. You got lost at the train station. I blamed the map. You blamed everyone except yourself. You laughed at me for an hour. You bought me that ridiculous blue scarf. You loved that scarf. I still have it. For a moment, I felt the old warmth. The apartment. Our wedding. Late-night dinners. Her head on my shoulder. Her laughing when I burned breakfast. I wanted to hold on to those memories. But I couldn't build a future from memories alone. She reached for my hand. Ethan, we were happy. We were. Can't we be happy again? I don't know. Then try. I slowly pulled my hand back. No. She froze. Why? Because I finally chose myself. Her face crumpled. Is there someone else? No. Sophie. I shook my head. She is my friend. Do you love her? No. Then why can't you come home? Because I don't need another woman to justify leaving you. She stared at me. I don't understand. I don't need anyone else to prove that what happened to me was wrong. She whispered, you really changed. I had to. Can you forgive me? I already have. She looked surprised. You have? Yes. Then why are you still leaving? Because I forgive you for my peace, not for another chance. She began sobbing. I thought if I came here, you'd take me back. I know. I thought you were still waiting. I was. Then what changed? I stopped. She looked at me for a long time. Is this really final? Yes. There's no way back? No. Not even if I change. You should change for yourself. Not for you. Not for me. She stood slowly. I hate myself for doing this. Don't hate yourself. How can I not? Learn from it. I lost everything. No. You still have a life. But I lost you. I swallowed. You lost the version of me who kept waiting. She wiped her tears. I don't know how to live with that. You will. How can you be so calm? I'm not calm. Then what are you? I'm hurting. Then why don't you stay? Because hurting doesn't mean I should return. She nodded slowly. I stood and opened the door. She stopped beside me. Ethan? Yeah. Her voice became almost a whisper. I lost you before I realized I was losing you. I closed my eyes. I know. She walked away. I watched her disappear down the street. For the first time, I didn't chase her. I didn't call her name. I didn't ask her to come back. I simply closed the door and stood alone. The pain was still there, but it no longer controlled me. I had forgiven her. I had released the anger. I remembered something Grace once told me. You don't have to hate someone to leave them. I understood. I could love Olivia and still let her go. I could remember the good without pretending. I could forgive without reopening the same wound. That was the difference between who I had been and who I was becoming. I was protecting myself. For once, that was enough for me. And I had finally chosen my own life. I left the city where my marriage had begun on a quiet Sunday morning. I drove for hours until the roads became familiar. This was the place where I had taken my first solo trip years ago. I parked beside the sea and listened to the waves. My phone rang. Ethan, are you there? I smiled. Daniel, how did you know? Grace told me. Of course she did. How are you? I looked at the water. Good. Really? Really? That sounds strange coming from you. I know. He laughed. Business is going well. Marcus says we may land another major client. That's great. It is. And Olivia? I took a breath. She's gone from my life. Completely. Completely. Are you sure you're okay with that? Yes. Then I'm proud of you. I smiled. Thanks, Daniel. After we ended the call, Grace called almost immediately. You two always talk too long. I thought you were busy. I was. Then I remembered my brother needs checking on. I'm fine. You sound happier. I am. Did you finally learn something? I laughed. Apparently. What? That I don't need someone beside me to feel whole. She became quiet. Then she said, That's what I wanted you to understand. I should have listened sooner. You weren't ready. I am now. I love you, Ethan. I love you too. After the call ended, I sat alone near the water. For once, being alone didn't feel like punishment. It felt like freedom. My phone buzzed again. Sophie, did you reach the sea? Yes. Are you smiling? How do you know? Because you sound different. I am sitting here without worrying about tomorrow. That sounds peaceful. It is. Are you coming back soon? Yes. Good. We still owe each other dinner. I smiled. Just dinner. Don't get ahead of yourself. I wasn't. You were. Maybe a little. She laughed. I liked having Sophie in my life. She never asked me to forget Olivia. She never tried to replace her. She simply reminded me that good people could enter my life without demanding pieces of it. That evening, Marcus sent me a message. We got the contract. I stared at the screen. Then I laughed. I called him. You're serious? Completely. How big? Big enough to change everything. I looked at the sea. Then let's do it. We already are. Thanks, Marcus. For what? For helping me rebuild. You rebuilt yourself. Maybe. No, maybe. I ended the call and smiled. My life was no longer built around someone else's choices. Then I saw the envelope. Olivia's handwriting. I held it for several seconds before opening it. Inside was one letter. Ethan, I am not writing to ask you to come back. I know I lost the right to ask that. I only want to say what I should have said much earlier. I treated your love like something that would always be waiting for me. I thought no matter how many times I hurt you, you would remain. I was wrong. I finally understand that losing someone doesn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happens through hundreds of small choices. I made those choices. Every canceled dinner. Every hidden message. Every excuse. Every time I chose Ryan when I should have protected our marriage. I cannot change any of it. I cannot ask you to forgive me. But I hope one day you remember that I did love you, even though I didn't know how to value what I had. You deserved better than the person I became. I am sorry. Please live the life you wanted. Olivia. I lowered the letter. My eyes filled with tears. I cried quietly beside the sea. Not because I wanted her back. I cried for the man I used to be. The man who waited. The man who begged. The man who believed love meant accepting pain. I reached into my pocket and touched my wedding ring. For one final moment, I held it tightly. I remembered our wedding. Her smile. My promise. The future I thought would last forever. Then I placed the ring beside the letter. I whispered, Goodbye, Olivia. The wind carried my voice away. I didn't feel hatred. I didn't feel revenge. I felt peace. Revenge had never been necessary. Olivia had to live with her choices. I had to live with mine. My choice was to move forward. I stood and walked toward the road. I stopped once more before reaching my car and looked at the horizon. I remembered how broken I had felt when I arrived here alone. Back then, I thought distance would help me forget. Now I knew distance had helped me remember who I was. I had not lost my life when Olivia left. I had lost the fear that kept me from living it. That was the real gift inside the pain. I would never waste it again. My phone rang again. Daniel, where are you going? Forward. That sounds serious. It is. Want me to come? No. You sure? I smiled. For the first time, I want to walk alone. He laughed. Then walk. I put my phone away. The sea remained behind me. The past remained behind me. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. I had spent years trying to save a marriage that was already hurting me. Now I was finally saving myself. I knew Sophie might remain in my life. I knew Daniel and Grace would always be there. I knew Marcus and I would build something bigger than either of us expected. But none of that mattered as much as one simple truth. I was finally comfortable with who I was. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need Olivia to regret leaving. I didn't need another woman to prove I was worthy of love. I only needed to keep walking. She thought I went away for a trip. She never understood that the trip was the moment I finally learned how to leave her.